Someone I've known for years once told me a strange story. Had been chasing an important contract for years. Not just wanting it, fighting for it. Calls, meetings, emails, sleepless nights, anxiety every morning, and nothing. Every door he knocked on stayed closed. One evening, he sat down and said it out loud, to no one, into the empty kitchen. I can't do this anymore. If this isn't meant to happen, then let it not happen. Not as giving up, as an honest admission. I've stopped being the owner of this situation. 3 weeks later, someone had never met called him and offered him something better than what had been fighting for all year. This story isn't about mysticism. It isn't about the universe heard your request. It's about something deeper and less flashy, about how the thing we call letting go actually works. Today I want to talk about something that breaks most people, about the enormous amount of effort we spend trying to make life go the way we need it to. We push, we rush, we pull, and we find that the harder we push, the harder life pushes back. And when we finally let go, doors that stayed closed for years suddenly open on their own. Why? It isn't chance. It isn't luck. And it sure isn't the universe rewarding people who tune themselves right. It's something much more fundamental, about how a person is built, about what our inner state does to us, and about the difference between real trust and the attempt to control everything while calling it flow. Let's start with a simple scene everyone's seen. Two candidates for the same job. Similar education, similar experience, similar resumes. The first one walks in, and in his eyes there's desperation. Not angry, not obvious, quiet, but absolute. Inside, he's repeating, I really need this job. I don't have a backup. I have to make them like me. He smiles a little too wide. He agrees a little too fast. He speaks a little louder than he needs to. There's a quality coming off him that's hard to put into words, but anyone with experience reads it in a second. This person desperately needs it. The second one walks in, and inside him it's quiet. Not indifference, a calm curiosity. He's thinking something like, interesting position. If we're a fit, great. If not, then my place is somewhere else, and I'll find it. There's no pressure coming off him. He isn't trying to be liked. He's interested. Who gets hired? Almost always the second one. And it isn't magic. It's basic human psychology. We're drawn to people who have quiet inside. We trust the ones who don't push. We want to work with the ones who aren't trying to sell us something. And here's the first important idea. The energy you walk into any situation with, an interview, a conversation, a meeting, a negotiation, often decides more than all your words and arguments. Not because it's magic, because we read each other much more deeply than we think. Most people try to fake that energy, pull on a smile, rehearse a speech, learn the right gestures. Sometimes it works, for about 15 minutes. Then the mask turns transparent, and what the person actually feels inside shows through. So the real work isn't on behavior, it's on the inner state, on what's inside you before you ever open your mouth. Let's go deeper. Take something that sounds almost mystical, but is really just brain physiology. Your emotional state determines what you're even capable of noticing around you. Here's a simple example you've probably noticed. You decide to buy a specific car model. Before that, you never saw it on the road. Never. From the day you got the idea, you start seeing it everywhere. At every intersection. In every parking lot. It feels like these cars suddenly appeared. But no, they were always there. Your brain just finally started seeing them because they'd become important to it. That's how attention works. And, most importantly, that's how emotions work too. When you live in fear, your brain is tuned to threats. It will find threats where there are none. It will filter reality through the lens of what could go wrong. and without noticing it, you'll see a world that confirms your fear. When you live in gratitude, the brain is tuned to openings. It will find open doors where another person sees walls. It will notice people willing to help in the same lines where someone else only sees a crowd. This isn't the law of attraction. It's how perception is wired. Very real, very measurable. And there's one conclusion. Your inner state doesn't shape reality. No, it shapes your ability to see reality. And since you can only act on what you see, the state you live in ultimately decides your actions, and the results too. And right here we have to stop, because this is exactly where a lot of teachings take a dangerous turn. They say, if your state has so much effect on your life, then you create your reality. The universe is your personal assistant. Tune your vibration, and what you want will come. It sounds liberating, but it's a lie, and the lie breaks people. Because if you create your reality, then any pain, any loss, any illness is your fault. You didn't tune in well. You didn't believe enough. Your vibration let you down. That isn't freedom. It's a very sophisticated form of self-blame, dressed up in pretty words about the power of thought. The truth is much more subtle and much more human. You're not the creator of your life, but you're a participant, someone who works alongside it, someone with a design placed in them that's bigger than they are. Your inner state really does change your life, but not by magic. It changes you. It changes your sight, your choices, your ability to see the people around you, your courage to act, and, most important, how open you are to the way the Creator is leading your life. You don't build your life by force of intention. You do something else. You become a person through whom something larger can act. It's a completely different position, less loud, but real. Friends, 5 seconds for a like and any comment, please. It really matters for a young channel. Thank you. Now, the practical part. What happens to a person who doesn't get this and keeps forcing his life? He's like someone trying to push through a crowd at full speed, elbowing, shoving forward, getting frustrated, burning through energy, and finding that the harder he pushes, the tighter the crowd packs. Next to him, another person walks calmly. He isn't fighting his way through, he sees the gaps. He waits a second, and the crowd opens up on its own. He steps to the side and finds himself ahead. That's the difference between desperate action and grounded action. Desperate action comes from fear, from the feeling that it has to work, or everything collapses. It's heavy. It wears you out. There's a pressing quality to it that everyone around you reads and instinctively pushes back against. Grounded action comes from somewhere else, from clarity, from the sense of, I'm doing what's mine to do, and the result isn't in my hands. It's light, even when it takes enormous effort. It charges you instead of draining you. And, surprisingly, it almost always turns out to be more effective. Most people live in desperate action mode for years. They call it drive, self-improvement, never giving up. But behind those words, there's often a simple fear. If I let go of control for 1 minute, it all falls apart. And here's the irony. That grip is exactly what tends to bring it down. I want to show how this shift happens in practice. Because understanding isn't enough. You need a road. Picture a woman. I'll call her Emma. She'd been looking for her person for years. And at some point, the search became her whole life. She went on dates almost every evening, analyzed every text, replayed every look. Every time she hoped, this is the one. And every time, no. By 40, she was burned out. And one day, after another date that went nowhere, sitting at home, she suddenly said one simple thing to herself. I'm not going to look for this anymore. I'm just going to live. Not, I don't need anyone. More like, I'm taking the search for a partner out of the center of my life. I'm just going to be the person I want to be. And if someone comes, he comes. If not, then my life will be a different kind of life. And that's okay too. She started doing the things she'd been putting off. She signed up for painting classes, spent more time with her nieces and nephews, came back to the piano, which she hadn't touched in 20 years. And 7 months later, she met someone at a group class she'd never gone to with that in mind. Someone who turned out to be the right person in every way that mattered. What changed? The universe didn't pay her back for the right vibration. She changed. She stopped walking through life in need mode. And with that, her energy changed. Her sight changed. Her ability to actually see people changed. And, most importantly, she stopped blocking the space where something she couldn't have arranged herself was free to happen. That's the paradox. The tighter you close your hand, the less you can hold. Open your palm, and what's meant to come, comes. But, important, this doesn't mean doing nothing. It isn't passivity. It isn't, "I'll sit and wait for a miracle." It's something else. It means you do what's yours to do, honestly, with everything you have. And what isn't yours to do, you stop carrying as a load. You take the steps. You don't try to know how it ends ahead of time. You walk, and you trust. Trust who? That's where the heart of this lies. A lot of people say, trust the flow, trust the universe, trust the process. It sounds nice, but if you dig a little deeper, what exactly are you trusting? You can trust your own intuition. That's useful, but unreliable. Intuition can mislead you, especially when you're tired or wounded. You can trust the general laws of life. That's more, but it's impersonal, and in a hard moment, the impersonal doesn't comfort you. Or you can trust the one who made you, the one who had a design for you before you ever wanted anything, the one who sees what you don't see, and who often leads you not where your wanting pulls you, but where there's real meaning. That's a completely different trust. Not as a transaction, I'll tune my vibration, you deliver the result. As a living connection. I don't understand, but I'm walking. I'm not trusting the outcome, I'm trusting you. And here's what's striking. People who come to this generally stop losing their strength, their sleep, and their peace to endless worry about the future. Not because everything in their lives got better, because they stopped carrying a weight that wasn't theirs to carry. That weight isn't for a person. No one is built to carry his own life as if he were its God. It's too heavy. And more to the point, it isn't true. Now to something many people treat as mysticism, but is really just inner hygiene. What you focus on expands. That's not the law of attraction. That's the law of attention. If every day you replay what you don't have, what you're afraid of, what could go wrong, your brain becomes an expert at finding those things. And it finds them in places another person wouldn't have. If every day you look, even briefly, at what you have, what's working, what you can be grateful for, your brain learns to see it. This isn't gratitude as a technique. It's gratitude as the right way to stand toward the life you were given. No one earned their own birth. No one worked for the sunrise. No one manufactured the air they breathe. All of it is a gift. And the ability to see it frees you from a lot. Most people live with the feeling that they owe someone something, that they're behind, that they should be doing more, better, faster. It exhausts them to death. When you suddenly see, there's so much I have that didn't have to be here, something in you starts to breathe. Not right away, but it starts. And one more important thing. The quality of the questions you ask yourself decides the quality of your life. This is one of the most underrated truths I know. Most people ask themselves destructive questions. Why does this always happen to me? Why do I have such bad luck? What's wrong with me? Why am I not like them? These questions feel natural. but they're traps. The brain is built to look for an answer to whatever question you ask it. If you ask, "Why am I a failure?" it will find you 15 reasons why you're a failure. They won't be facts. They'll be stories your brain put together to answer. Change the question, change the life. Not, "Why did this happen to me?" but "What can this teach me?" Not, "What if nothing comes of it?" but "What if it turns out better than I expect?" Not, "Why can't I handle it?" but "What's the next small step I can take right now?" This isn't positive thinking. It's pointing your attention in the right direction, and it changes a lot. As we wrap up, I want to gather all of this into one simple thought. You don't need to be the creator of your reality. It's too heavy, and it just isn't true. You need something else. You need to live from the right inner place, from quiet, not from anxiety, from trust, not from control, from gratitude, not from constant lack, from the question, "Who do I want to be?" instead of, "How do I get it all done?" And when you live from there, something shifts. Not because the universe is delivering something to you, because you stop blocking the space where something larger than you can move. The Creator sees you. He knows your real needs, not the ones shouting loudest in your head, but the ones that actually matter for your life. And He leads you to where there's meaning, even if along the way it looks like closed doors and delays you can't make sense of. Your job isn't to catch up, not to force it out, not to make it happen. Your job is to be the person through whom life can unfold, with an honest heart, clear sight, and open hands. That's enough. Short summary, so it doesn't slip away. The energy you walk into a situation with often decides more than your words. Your state doesn't create reality. It changes you, your sight, and your decisions. Desperate action pushes things away. Calm action opens doors. Letting go isn't passivity. It's no longer carrying a weight that isn't yours. Gratitude isn't a technique. It's the right way to stand toward the life you've been given. The quality of the questions you ask yourself decides the quality of your life. You can trust the flow, or you can trust the one who made the flow, and those are different things. If this video was helpful, I'd be grateful for a like. And if you're not subscribed yet, you know what to do. Until next time.